YouTube viewers, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This is a show by the people, for the people, and you, my friends, are my people. So jump right in, join our community. That's the way we like it here. On today's show, a legendary WNBA player tells Angel Reese in the nicest terms possible she sucks at layups. A future Major League Hall of Famer is going to be changing positions this year. We'll tell you all about that. And wait till you hear what a judge is doing with Walmart shoplifters. Yeah, that's right. We got all of that and more for you today, but let's begin with free speech and the intersection of how free speech and social media works in this country. You might not be aware that on YouTube, I am limited in the words that I can say on this platform, particularly when it comes to pronouns and such that go with the transgender community. You cannot mispronoun someone on YouTube. It takes me back to something that happened in 1972 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, when George Carlin got arrested for doing his comedy show in Milwaukee. Take a look at this. You could arrest George Carlin, but you couldn't stop him from telling the truth. The censorship is real in this country, and I think that we should remember things like George Carlin, just over 50 years ago, getting arrested for disorderly conduct for doing a comedy routine that other people found to be subjectively offensive. Stephen A. Smith certainly doesn't mind exercising his free speech rights, and Stephen A. considers himself to be a centrist. That's what he's calling himself now. He says that he rejects MAGA, but he also rejects the woke cancel culture of the left. And Stephen A. even flirting with the idea of running for president, potentially, down the road. He isn't exactly extinguishing those rumors. We've seen him showing up, polling at about 2 or 3% in very, very early ballot, checking for the next round in 2028 among Democratic voters. So it's not entirely ridiculous to consider that Stephen A. might run. And Stephen A. continuing to score points on the common sense scale by saying that while he supports LGBTQIA+, did I get all the initials in there? He supports the rights of these individuals. He just can't get with biological men in women's sports. Let's take a listen.
To me, it's about a strong economy. It's about being fiscally conservative and socially liberal, but within reason. And so that's how I look at it. LGBTQ rights and all of that stuff, I'm in full support of that. But when transgender athletes, men, are transitioning to women and they're competing in female sports, that's a different animal to me. That's not just about LGBTQ rights. That's about prying on the rights of females out there everywhere who were born female, and they're at a decided disadvantage.
Stephen A. Smith has positioned himself as a future potential presidential candidate just by recognizing the obvious. That's where we are in our society right now. The people who can observe the obvious and note it suddenly have moved to the front of the classroom. We're leading the pack just because we haven't lost our goddamn minds. Like Margaret Brennan over at CBS blaming the Holocaust on too much free speech. 60 Minutes doing a puff piece where they sat down with German prosecutors who are locking people up for social media posts that hurt somebody's feelings and seemingly just making very nice with these Germans who are stripping away the rights of their fellow citizens, enforcing this. And it seems as though CBS has an appetite for that to happen in our country because free speech is the problem. Beware, my friends, of anyone, especially an American in this society, who tries to tell you that too much free speech is a problem. Okay, I've never had too much pizza. I've never had too much sex. I've never had too much marijuana, and I've never had too much free speech either. I've never grabbed too many cakes either, for that matter. If you're looking for the cultural high point of the 1980s, I humbly submit for your consideration the day that the Junkyard Dog recorded Grab Them Cakes with Vicky Sue Robinson. I think Vicky Sue Robinson, isn't she the one who turned the beat around? Remember that song? Oh, you thought that was her crowning achievement? Guess what? She recorded Grab Them Cakes with JYD. I didn't see the Germans doing anything this fucking awesome in the 1980s or any other decade, so fuck right on off. Last thing I remember about Germany is we were saving the rest of the world from you motherfuckers. So 80 years later, I don't want to hear your advice on how we can be better people. And I certainly don't want to see CBS News cheerleading it. What the fuck are we doing? Speaking of what the fuck is someone doing, have you ever seen Angel Reese try to shoot a layup? We've talked about it on this program many times. She averaged 13 points and 13 rebounds a game last year during her rookie season. She led the WNBA in rebounding, but as many have said, she's rebounding a lot of her own misses. And Lisa Leslie, appearing on Angel Reese's show, podcast, whatever it is that she has, telling her in the nicest way possible, just the nicest way possible. She makes a compliment sandwich here. She sets this up nicely. She finishes it nicely. But if you can read between the lines, what Lisa Leslie is trying to tell Angel Reese is that she can't shoot a fucking layup for shit. Let's roll the tape.
Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups, period. Like, we're going to fix that.
Yeah.
That's fixable for you. And I think that's probably the biggest. I think your shot from the outside is improving. I love that your ball handling is good. Your defense.
Have you ever in your life heard of a professional basketball player who the number one thing they had to work on is their layups? We're going to fix your layups. You know those shots that you keep trying to take from 2 feet away that you keep missing? We need to work on that, says Lisa Leslie in the nicest way that she possibly could phrase it. I'll tell you who could take it to the rack. Look at this. Maybe if Fidel Castro was still around, he would be happy to tutor Angel Reese on how to take it to the rack. And Fidel Castro driving the lane here. While, I don't know, you might notice the other team there. They're giving him some space. That guy the guy on the right side doesn't look like he's going to contest this one. He probably just wants to get home and see his family one more time. It's amazing how they clear a path for you to the basket when you're a dictator. works out well for you. What's the layup practice session going to look like anyway? What does it look like when you have a layup? So does she just shoot 100 layups? Is there some kind of a process here? How does that work? It's not exactly Steph Curry going to the gym to shoot a few 130-footers, is it? Does it look like this? Take a look at what we got here. What's going on? This is a turkey circle run, I'm being told, that somebody found. I don't know. They're definitely doing some kind of a drill, and if you look at the tombstone there, you can notice that the name on it is Harris. You know how buzzards like to circle dead things? I don't know. Do turkeys like to circle dead things? Is that the headstone of Kamala Harris's 2024 campaign? That those turkeys are circling around? They're all upset that she lost. I can't believe she lost. I can't believe she lost. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I'm literally shaking right now. Gobble, gobble, gobble. I don't know. Speaking of Kamala Harris, it's been a while since we've talked about her at any kind of length. on this show. But she's back, caught on video, giving a speech to the cast of A Wonderful World on Broadway, inspiring us again with her soaring rhetoric and the gift of gab that, well, only a chosen few have. Perhaps William Shakespeare was as good with words as Kamala Harris. It's a very short list, but one thing I can tell you is people are speculating online she may have been hammered. Is she drunk here? Let's take a look and see what you think. Draw your own conclusions.
But spirit's tired, but it cannot be defeated. Never let anybody defeat that. Because then what do we have left? And the way that I see it also is that when we think about like these moments where we see things that are being taken, but also let's see it as nature abhors a vacuum. So where there's a vacancy, then let's fill it. Right?
Nature abhors a vacuum. I don't know. That video, I saw it earlier and it just made me realize how grateful I am that we don't have to cover her on this program more frequently than we do. You remember this? I got no great segue for this one, but do you remember this? Some of you will. I was a Flintstones fan when I was a kid. The Flintstones aired in the 60s. So by the time I was born, the Flintstones run on primetime TV. It was a primetime show. Pebbles and Bam Bam. Pebbles Flintstone and Bam Bam Rubble. You remember that one episode where they inexplicably suddenly could write a song and play fucking instruments? Do you recall that? Then they were never able to do anything like that again. Let the sun shine in. Face it with a grin. Smilers never lose and frowners never win, my friends. Is it sad that I remembered that off the top of my head? I think that it is, quite honestly. Let me now go to the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. I speak, of course, of Ronnie T-shirts. Ronnie, it's been a while since we've had Kamala on the program. Does it give you the warm fuzzies to see her out there inspiring people with her profound words?
Dude, I was just watching that and all I could think of was, oh my God, I'm so glad that she's not the president. I just can't even imagine. I can't imagine what it would be like every day seeing video of her and her word salads and seeing the legacy media just blowing sunshine up her rear end all the time. Like, oh my gosh, did we dodge a bullet?
Nature abhors a vacuum, Ron, a vacuum that no doubt is unburdened by what has been. She was so far over her head. That's one of the places where I have a problem with my friends on the left, is just that the lack of acknowledgement that she was just in clearly over her head. Even if somebody agrees with her policy-wise, she had no idea what she was doing. She is the living embodiment of the Peter principle. That
you're
woman,
being very kind right now.
That woman exceeded her capabilities in life so far by however she got there. I don't know what else. Another one of your favorite topics, Ron, Angel Reese and the WNBA. Lisa Leslie said that so nicely, but there's really, at the end of the day, no nice way to tell somebody that they can't shoot a fucking layup, is there?
I mean, I got to give Angel credit for asking the question, because I'm assuming they didn't talk about that before, because it didn't sound canned when it came off. So I got to give Angel credit for that. But yeah, she knows, right? Like, doesn't she know that she's terrible at layups?
How can you be so fucking bad at layups? Even people who suck at everything else are good at layups. Seriously. I mean, there's some people where people, we'd say, oh, well, Shaq, he can't hit free throws his entire career. Hack a Shaq. What's he going to do? He can't. Well, you know what? I mean, free throws are at least 15 feet away. Layups are as close as you can fucking get. Who's bad at layup? Who's that bad at layups?
Certainly
Under
not
50%.
Well, certainly not accomplished basketball players. Like people that aren't any good at basketball can't make layups, but accomplished basketball players all can make layups.
You don't even have to be accomplished. I'm dynamite at layups. Dynamite at fucking layups, Ron. I'm making the vast majority of them, even contested.
I don't know if you thought about this when you put up that the tweet that you did of Fidel Castro. If I would have been out there, I would have treated his ass like Mike Tomczak. I would have thrown that shit to half court.
You would have swatted some communism back to mid court and been summarily executed later that afternoon, Ron. But it would have been a heroic moment for you. Sorry, Lori and Tyler. Daddy T-shirts won't be home tonight, but you should have seen what he did to Castro's weak shit. It's incredible. By the way, Mike Tomczak, I'm just going to let this cat out of the bag on the show. You know, I reached out to Mike Tomczak, invited him to come on the program. My thought was we would surprise you one day.
Okay.
If I could get Tomczak to agree to come on, I was going to coordinate it with Tim. And, you know, Tim doesn't even know that I was thinking this, I don't think. But then we would just have Mike Tomczak
and he never responded?
It would be a moment. He hasn't responded. Now, maybe he hasn't seen it. I don't know how often he's on X, but Mike, the invitation is out there. We could still surprise you someday if I hear back from him. But
absolutely,
trying to get number 18.
It's probably PTSD for him. He doesn't want to come back and face me. So,
what if he remembers it? He remembers the people laughing at him when it happened. Like in his mind, he just like put his hands over his head and he went right back. You talking some shit? Yeah. How you like that one, pretty boy?
Super Bowl boy.
Ron, the Associated Press is refusing to adopt the Gulf of America. They're not going to acknowledge it. That's the hill they're going to die on. It's still the Gulf of Mexico to them, damn it. The Associated Press saying they will continue with Gulf of Mexico despite Trump's executive order renaming it the Gulf of America. The Gulf of Mexico has carried that name for more than 400 years. The Associated Press will refer to it by its original name. Remember a few years ago, this isn't the Associated Press, I want to be clear, but remember when the dictionary started changing the definition of woman subtly 2 or 3 years ago? They started adding things, somebody who identifies as a woman and whatever. We can play with words all that we want to, but they're refusing to acknowledge this. But I'm seeing this a lot on social media, Ron, on my Facebook, where I have a lot of liberal friends. I'm seeing people do things like just post close-ups of a map where it says Gulf of Mexico. A guy posted it on my timeline and it had like 300 likes of people. This is what they have left. Well, you control Congress, you control the Supreme Court, you control the executive branch, you're in control of all 3 branches of government, but by God, I'm never gonna call it Gulf of America.
You won't tell me what to do.
I guess it's all that's left. Gulf of America sounds better. Why isn't it Gulf of America? This is North America. I think it makes sense to call it Gulf of America. Why would you be against that as an American? If you're an American,
because it was Trump's idea. Because it was Trump's idea. You know the answer.
Exactly. Because it was Trump's idea. And so they're sitting here saying, I'm calling it Gulf of Mexico. And it's like, bro, this is America. Let's call it the Gulf of America. It sounds better. I don't know. But you're right. There are people who would fight Donald Trump to the death on anything.
Yep.
I said on the show yesterday, if he cured cancer, there would be people who would be against that. You name it. He could have cured COVID, and there would have been people who would have found fault with it. There's nothing he's going to be able to do. Maybe we should just listen to Kid Rock. Ron, Kid Rock, talking to Bill Maher, said that, maybe we all just need to chill out a little bit. Let's listen to the kid.
On the bringing people together part, I mean, you have a song called My Kind of Country. My Kind of Country has room for Trump and a JFK. That's the first line, right?
Had I known, it would have said RFK.
Is that the last Democrat you liked?
No, I mean, my whole business is Democrats. I mean, so to speak. Not my whole business. I live in Nashville now, but that's the world I've operated for years and years. I mean, half my band's, liberal, or gay, or black, or this. And it's like, we have one of the most diverse bands out there, not because of any of this DI shit, just because they're the best at what they do, and we all love each other and get along.
And I mean, you played the inauguration. Didn't Nelly and Snoop play that too?
Yeah, I believe they did. But remember, I also played Barack Obama's inauguration.
Oh, I didn't remember that.
I didn't vote for him. I played for him at the Kennedy Center. This, that, and the other. I'm like, everybody's just got to calm the fuck down a little bit. You know what I mean?
Calming the fuck down seems like a decent idea, Ron. I think it's hard on social media because we get the most extreme examples of stupidity sometimes, and it makes it hard to tamp it down. As you've said many times, you don't run into a lot of these problems in everyday life that get amplified so much on social media. And so maybe that's part of the issue, but I love what he said there. Look, he said, my band is diverse. I've got gay people, people of color, whatever in my band. And they're in my band because they're great musicians and they're great people. And this is why I think identity politics has been so destructive, Ron, is it holds us in this perpetual state of reflecting back on grievances that go back hundreds of years in some cases, where if we could focus on just the things that we have in common as people, I think that we could really move forward and we could see a significant decrease in racism and a lot of things like this. But it's hard to get there when we spend our time just focusing on what our special identity groups are that we belong to and feeling like anybody who isn't a part of that group isn't in our tribe, whether that's on the basis of political ideology or it's on the basis of nationality or it's on the basis of sex or race or any of those things.
Yeah, man. It's just mind-boggling sometimes where we're at now, because it felt like when I was a kid, 70s, 80s, like all we were doing was just desperately trying to move to a point where everybody was just the same, right? We're just Americans and that's it. And, there's we didn't segregate anymore. And it's what we were trying to do. And now it just seems like, wow, everybody just wants to group each other, by, like you said, their identity. And it's weird to have been alive for both, I guess, the pendulum swinging both ways.
Right. And you have to care the most. This is what sort of hijacked the left, among other things, is you have to present yourself to be a good person. There are a lot of people on the left, particularly, to think to be a good white person, you have to be the white person who cares the most about the plight of everybody else. And you have to do that vocally. And you have to talk about how, it's not enough. Remember how it's not enough to be not racist. You've got to be anti-racist. You've got to be and it became a game on the left of like, who can be the most woke? Who can be the most empathetic? Who can be the most understanding? And then it bled over into crime. Who can be the most understanding of criminals? Who can be the most understanding of illegal immigrants? Who can have the most compassion for the plight of this person who stole hundreds of dollars of stuff from a drugstore because you understand that they've had difficulties in their life and there are difficulties in their background that you may not have shared. And it just leads you to a place of chaos, and it's unending. It's a self-propelling machine of grievances that can never be filled. It can never be filled. There is never a day where you say, oh, everything, okay, we can go forward now from some sort of common ground. And it's destructive. Kid Rock says that his kind of country has room for Donald Trump and JFK. My kind of country has room for Paul Balls and AM radio, motherfucker. Today in 1975, your dad took a drag off of his heater and turned up the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. You remember the Ozark Mountain Daredevils, Ron? Remember their hit? Trivia question. Jackie Blue. You remember that song? Ooh, Jackie Blue. And then I can't remember the rest.
I
of the
do
lyrics,
remember that song, but I didn't know that that's who sang that. God, I think the only Ozarks that I know was the Ozark Boys or something like that. When they're a country band.
Who are they, Ron?
Something
You're thinking,
Ozark.
are you thinking of the Oak Ridge Boys?
Maybe.
Or is this
no. I think that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Oak Ridge Boys.
Okay.
You're right.
Well, there you go. The Oak Ridge Boys. I don't know. I thought maybe you were privy to some other fucked up hillbilly
There's
band
probably
that I
a
wasn't
band called the
aware
Ozark
of.
Boys.
Ron, one of the things that has come out of this football season is I have started to get a sense, especially in the wake of the Super Bowl, I've started to see more interviews with Saquon Barkley. And for the first time, I've gotten a sense of who he is as a person. And I really like the guy. Take a look at this, Ron, at the Philadelphia Eagles championship parade. Some fans have a little bit of they've got some adult beverage here. Saquon stops, pounds a little bit of it, and keeps going. How fucking awesome did those people feel right there in that moment? Look at that. That's the best moment of that woman's life. Her husband has never satisfied her the way that Saquon Barkley taking that drink of alcohol just did. Best moment of her life. She's never said that. She's never said that to him in many years. I hope her husband recognizes that when he watches it back. But Saquon Barkley just seems like a down-to-earth, cool person. We saw him grabbing the Eagles ball boy or ball man or
I was going to say
whoever
ball man.
It was.
Ball man.
You said that was a grown. They said it was a ball boy, but that looked like Saquon Barkley lifted a grown-ass man to me.
It was kind of weird, wasn't
it? It was. Oh, you just picked him up like a toddler and pulled him into the parade. But Barkley just seems like a high character guy. Seems like just a cool, humble person. So, in addition to all of his talent on the field, seems like a really easy guy to root for as well, Ronnie.
No, I agree. Did we show it on here or did I see it someplace else? And when he shotgunned a beer in the locker room after the Super Bowl.
I haven't even seen that one.
Oh yeah, he shotgunned a beer.
I haven't even seen
he's just
well,
which is funny because he's one of those.
I didn't even know that.
It's funny to see because he's clearly one of those my body is my temple guys because I mean the dude is just like his body's perfect, right? Probably no fat on his body, but he's like, no, I'm going to drink. I'm going to have fun. I'm just like everybody else. He's impossible to dislike. You might not like him, but it's impossible to dislike him.
Impossible to dislike him. And, look, I think the only reason anybody would have to dislike him is, not like him is the fact that he's running for 150 yards on your team would be the only thing that would make that personal. Ron, did you see where Mike Trout is changing positions? The future Hall of Famer, center fielder of the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, the worst fucking name in Major League Baseball at least, is going to be moving to right field in an attempt to preserve his health. The three-time American League MVP has played in 82 or fewer games 3 out of the past 4 years, and the Angels and Mike Trout just want to find a scenario that keeps him on the field.
Kind of just threw everything on the table, as in what's best for me. Body-wise, keep me on the field. Came to the conclusion that I'm going to go to right field. Like it. Try it out. See where it goes.
Will you mix in center at all? Is this going to be straight?
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm going to play right, but they say I'm there could be some times where I do play center too. So
Was that a tough thing? I mean, obviously you've kind of always been a center fielder. Is it tough to kind of?
I knew it was coming, but just got used to it. But I just want to be on the field. So
Joe Madden broached this a couple years ago, and at that time you were I'm a center fielder.
Yeah,
so what
sure.
has changed in your mind?
No, I mean, just look at my last couple of years. Just trying to preserve the legs and just go out there and run some balls down and right, and that's what we came to, and I'm with it.
Was your offseason any different to kind of prepare for that at all, or anything like that?
No.
So there you go. Mike Trout going to play the less demanding right field corner outfield position. And Ron, if this doesn't work, I'm not sure what they do. I saw some meme the other day where they said that the Angels City Connect jerseys were bubble wrap. And it was a picture of Mike Trout just wrapped in bubble wrap, because you're talking about a guy here who truly is an all-time great talent. He's not just a future Hall of Famer. He is a guy who, at his best, I think it's fair to put him with your Willie Mazes, Mickey Mantles. He had that kind of ability. Some of his seasons are historically great when you look at his WAR and you look at his stats, but he is just past the age of 30 been unable to stay on the field. It's reminiscent of Ken Griffey Jr. in a lot of ways, where you had a guy who was clearly on a path to racking up unbelievable career numbers, who got a little bit of age on the odometer and started breaking down physically.
Yeah, wasn't that something that was pretty common, especially back when I really liked baseball, 70s, that they would take guys that were in the outfield, excuse me, and they'd like move them to first base. Like, I feel like I remember that happening.
Carl Yastrzemski is a guy that
or come from behind the plate. Yeah. Or they were catchers.
Yeah. Yeah. You would have first base was usually where you could kind of hide a guy, one of the lower demanding positions on the field, and you could stick a guy with some age over there, or a guy who wasn't in great shape. Willie Stargell was a guy who started off as an outfielder, ended up as a first baseman. But I don't know, Mike Trout, not unlike Aunt Esther. My body was blessed by Mother Nature, says Aunt Esther, and Fred G. Sanford simply responding, and it was cursed by Father Time. And Mike Trout now experiencing that curse as well. I'm ready for you to drop some knowledge on me when I ask you the question that I love to ask you at this point, and that question, of course, is, what the fuck, Ron?
I assume you saw what happened yesterday.
Caught me playing with my hair again.
Yeah,
Damn it.
I did a little eyebrow scratch.
All right. Well, as you like to remind everyone, we're human beings, damn it.
Human beings.
It's hard not to scratch your nose or move a hair out of your eye just because the camera's on.
I cleared my throat. It happens, Ricky. I assume you saw what happened in Toronto yesterday with the plane crash?
I don't. Oh, the plane flipping over.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I sure did.
The reason I felt like I wanted to talk about this today, one was because amazing, there were no deaths. So we've got a new video that's out that actually shows the plane coming.
Oh wow, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, check this out, man.
I have not seen this. Holy shit, bro.
Yeah.
What went wrong?
So everything that I saw in the news was they think that there were 40-mile-an-hour winds and that they probably shouldn't have landed. And then we have a still of the aftermath. Look at that. So look at that video, Ricky, and now look at this still, and understand that there were 80 people on that plane and not a single person died. Only 18 got hurt. None of them life-threatening. Like, that's absolutely amazing.
Look, we have lived in a period of time here for a long time where everything has pretty much been hunky-dory with commercial air travel in the United States. And, you know, we obviously had the tragedy that occurred in DC. Now you see this happening. And of course, they're completely unrelated. And you know, there's always going to be an inherent danger in air travel, no matter how safe we make it. But bro, that's, you know, you look at a landing as just being no big deal. And then suddenly you're in a situation like that. I guess it's a good reminder to everyone that when they say fasten your seatbelt,
Fasten your damn seatbelt.
Fasten your fucking seatbelt. Yeah.
Yeah. And last but not least, you teased it at the beginning of the show. Judge Jeffrey Clothier of Genesee County in Michigan has come up with an alternative to jail time for people that are convicted of shoplifting in his region. So he is having anybody that is found guilty of shoplifting, they have to wash cars in the parking lot of a Walmart that's about 50 miles north of Detroit. And so he's hoping that people that go to Walmart and
so
have to
how
pay
does that work? How does that work? Do you, I mean,
so
is there like some place where you drive over and
and
get
so
that,
Walmart,
or you just come out of Walmart and there's some disgraced shoplifter
just your car's
scrubbing your
randomly
car?
getting
You're like,
washed?
what the fuck are you? Get away from me! What the fuck are you doing?
No, Walmart.
Well, I shoplifted here, sir. I had to do this.
Yeah, Walmart. Well, that's part of it. Walmart has aligned with this guy, and so they're providing all the supplies to wash the cars and an area to do it. And so anybody that goes and shops there can get their car washed for free. And the judge is actually going to go out there and help wash the cars. So he's hoping that this has a little bit of shame for these people. That people that know them will see them washing cars and they'll know that they shoplifted and use that as a deterrent. So would you, if you drove up to the Walmart, would you get your car washed by a criminal?
No, I would not. I'm perfectly happy just going through the Jet Bright in my neighborhood. I don't really need somebody that was compelled to shoplift from Walmart to. Don't touch my car, you criminal. Get away from me. Is it a bikini car wash, Ron? Is it a shoplifter bikini car wash?
I don't know.
Because I've seen people that shop at Walmart. I wouldn't want any part of that one.
There's literally what I was just going to say. Like, that's
not going to be good for business.
Let's stay fully clothed.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.